So we don't have to actually, create a rebellion to get a courtroom. We have to identify what is constitutional government and what it is supposed to do. And we have to identify that our employees are not doing their job. And we'll read the preamble here just so that you know. The Constitution of the United States, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That is our government. That is the instruction to our government employees. It includes the judiciary and the president and the Congress. It's their job to do those particular things. And in terms of redress, which is a First Amendment law, actually I will look for that here just a second. Well, anyway, it says that, redress of grievances is in there. Go look it up. But the important to that is pursuant to Article 3. I'm going to read you a little piece of Marbury versus Marshall, I think it is, Mayberry versus Madison. That's a 1875 common law description that is used, throughout the century. In cases such as these, Congress, since 1875, has authorized federal trial courts to entertain cases arising under the Constitution. In other words, if the Constitution is not being kept, it is the job of the judiciary to ensure that the Constitution is kept. So, and we have reason to believe the evidence is strongly in focus that our world and our nation and our lives and our future and our children are all in trouble. That's the evidence of our reality, and it is everywhere. In such cases, the courts have the power and duty to afford redress against government officials who have invaded or threatened to invade our constitutional rights. So they have a legitimate, actual, enforced reality. They must obey the law, and that means they must obey First Amendment redress of grievances. They have no option to refuse it. And our standing to sue is that the evidence proves with reasonable doubt that the endangerment of all life by injecting nature with chaos, the mutilating of genetics, by trying to ignite a force of energy that is equivalent to the energy on the sun. Their stated position is that we'll create the exact same energy that you see on the sun here on this earth, and of course the cost of being wrong with that means our earth turns into a sun. These things cannot be just brushed aside. The cost of being wrong is too high. It is the end of our world. So these things, these threats and others have been listed in my websites, and jamesfosterper.com and other websites. You can look. It's not a surprise. It's not a game. It's not a personal conclusion. It's all of us understand there are problems. So we have to we have a standing to sue, and we have original jurisdiction, which means that is the parameters or the First Amendment redress of grievances, the right of we the people to protect ourselves. We are bearing witness to the sovereign immunity of our ownership of this nation and our reality to protect and to guide ourselves and our nation for our own protection and for the protection of every child and for the protection of every democracy and for the protection of nature itself. We cannot let the religion of evolution destroy our world. We cannot let the cancer of university plays God or the university is the expert destroy our democracy or destroy our world. We cannot do that. We have a legitimate, authorized, enforceable legal right to defend ourselves, to prove that the evidence is true or false. And while there is no side is authorized to play God and say we are right and you are wrong, That includes those who claim they are government. They're not. They're employees, the former classmates of our own. They have, there is sufficient evidence does exist to provide to prove a substantial threat against all life in world and nation. That not only goes to money and everything else, it goes to everything that is life on earth. Therefore, standing exists, and the judiciary is required to commit that their claim of expertise, the people who are in government employed by us to honor our government, shall in fact be subjected to trial to ensure or assure both sides are adequately defended. They have to come and declare what it is that they believe in order to gamble with our entire world, and in order to gamble with every living thing on the planet, in order to completely destroy the securities of this nation, and to prove that the outcome is the best that we could in fact do in trial before our nation and before the world, because it is about our world. We cannot just let the universities play God and have no reason to fight with them. Let's prove the evidence is true. Prove it. Come to court and prove the evidence is true. That is justice. That is fair play. That is the right of redress of grievances in this nation. And of course, we need a foothold, a way to open the door and enforce that. And I'm offering up me. I have, since the COVID asinine release of Nazism into this United States, I've decided that they have no authority over me. They have no authority to play God with our lives, our world, our nation, our government, or anything. They are not the government that we employ. They are the government of the communists, which are the university decides. As is, communism simply means only a tiny few are the experts, only a tiny few are the leaders, only a tiny few decide everything. Everything. So we need to enforce upon them the idea that this is a democracy and they do not decide everything. We decide for ourselves what our law will be and what our law will allow. It is our right, it is our duty, it is our protection. And so I haven't bothered to pay the tax since I think it's 2021. So and I'm not going to pay the tax this year either. And I'm not going to file, and I've sent them letters each and every year. Basically, it says, you can have the tax. I don't care. You can have it. It's fine. But you must provide the constitutional redress of grievances. That is the law. You may not discard the law. You may not discard our democracy. You may not refuse the Constitution of the United States of America and claim that you don't have any responsibility to that. You are a criminal organization committing treason if you do not provide the legal reality of redress of grievances for our nation so that we can decide for ourselves. I'm not refusing to pay the tax. I'm refusing to not fight for our democracy and to not fight for what is actually important to our world. So come and take me to court or do it a different way. I don't care. It's not up to me to defend you, but I am, completely at odds with those who claim that they are, the government and can't be touched. I tried to take them to court. In fact, did take them to court, sort of, in years past. I think it was 2005, I'm not sure, 2004, I don't care, for a $10,000 tax liability that I refused to pay. Say, take me to court, because they don't allow you to take them to court, so you have to make them take you to court. So now I'm willing to pay the tax, that's not an issue. Take me to court. I want redress instead. So after a couple of years, I says, well, I found the IRS was actually pretty fast on that one. They thought they could win real quick and easy. So they charged me. Said the law only allows us to charge 24%, but now since it's the second year that you have that the tax has gone by, now we're going to charge you 48%. And from $10,000, they charged me $15,000 for a penalty, $5,000 more for the penalty, and they charged me an extra $38,000, I believe it was, for interest on the money or whatever it was. It doesn't matter. They are, liars and cheaters and frauds and thieves because I wanted redress. Not, there was no claim of that. So I paid the $15,000, which was the tax plus the interest plus the penalties. And then I didn't pay the $38,000. I said, take me to court. I'm not going to pay it. Take me to court. And when they said, okay. So I said, I'll take you to court, and they give me an option of Chicago or Indianapolis. I chose Indianapolis because it is more likely to be real there. And the end result was that when they found out how this was going to go, they simply locked the door in my face and removed themselves from the courtroom. So we didn't get to trial. So they just stole the money and refused. And so the end result of that is that you have to sign your name to the idea that we're going to insist on redress. In other words, I cannot take them there alone. They will not go. They can avoid it because they are the power of an army, and I am not an army and cannot simply fight an army by myself. You have to participate. You have to sign your name and come along for the ride that is our democracy at stake. So make up your mind. And yes, I know that, fixing it requires all the things you don't want. But beyond what you don't want is extinction if you don't. And we're asking you, or I'm asking you, to force an evaluation of the evidence to prove what is and is not true, to prove the price of being wrong. And we'll start with the purpose here is to start with, let's protect the world, and start with those who claim that they can ignite the same fire here as is on the sun, and they don't have to control it because gravity will just extinguish a 1,000,000-mile long flame. It's a self-sustaining plasma, and it will not extinguish itself, and the price of being wrong is it incinerates us all. So let's start there, and then we'll go to evolution and see whether injecting all life with chaos, as is their claim of religion, as is their claim of God, is evolution, is a fantasy beyond expression. We need to accept the fact that, the day of your denial of reality is over. But of course you can just refuse, and if you do, extinction will come soon. And I say that not to threaten you. I say that as a reality and a warning to you. That you need to understand this is not a game, and the truth must decide what is and is not to be done. I'm not saying believe in me, don't you dare believe in me. I'm not worth believing in. Believe in the evidence, but don't believe in them either. And they claim they know, but it's just a fantasy and a delusion and an imagination. And they don't know they're liars and traitors and thieves and traitors beyond conception, which makes them Satan. Terrorists at heart. We must find out what is true, or we will die by their hand, because nature will be mutilated beyond recognition, and the whole world will simply be extinct. It's your choice. I suggest you think about it and make the right decision.